Welcome to Deep Dive Podcast, where we dive deep so you can see clearer.
Imagine a state-of-the-art, heavily pressurized deep-sea submarine.
Okay, I'm picturing it.
Right. So every single bulkhead has a really specific purpose. Every valve is like calibrated to handle an exact amount of pressure. And the crew inside, they only survive because they follow this relentless, completely unyielding set of protocols.
Oh, absolutely. It's a marvel of engineering.
Exactly. And as long as no one deviates from the manual, you know, everyone stays alive.
But see, that safety is entirely an illusion.
Yeah.
Because all it takes is one tiny, unforeseen microfracture, say a single unpredictable human emotion. And that immense external pressure, it doesn't just cause a leak. It implodes the entire vessel in like a fraction of a second.
Boom.
Yeah.
Gone. And that catastrophic implosion is exactly what we're exploring today. So welcome to today's deep dive.
That could be here.
We're unpacking a massive, really intricate original manuscript that details the epic saga of a kingdom called Rhanthoria. Our mission today is to explore this volatile intersection of rigid societal duty, a deeply forbidden romance, and the explosive awakening of ancient magic.
All set inside a highly unique matriarchal vampire empire.
Yes. Okay, let's unpack this, because we are stepping into a world that completely flips the traditional script. You know, these vampires, they do not lurk in shadows, waiting to bite oblivious humans in alleyways.
Not at all.
No, here, humans are actually the cornerstone of a heavily regulated economy. Like, blood is literally a traded currency in this formalized, symbiotic barter system.
Right, and to understand how this economy functions, you really have to look at the broader geopolitical map of this world.
Well, for sure. Set the stage for us.
So there are 5 distinct vampire factions, and they all interact with humans completely differently. Rhanthoria belongs to the Ether faction, which thrives on that symbiotic relationship.
Okay, so it's a mutual thing.
Exactly. Human blood in Rhanthoria operates almost like crude oil in our world.
Wow, okay. A foundational commodity.
Yeah. Humans willingly trade their blood, their labor, their goods, all in exchange for gold, gems, and absolute military protection.
That is a wild setup.
It is. And this mutualism is a stark contrast to the rest of the world. Like, you have the Eraskesh, who share similar, albeit looser, values.
Right.
Then there are the Glindion, who strictly consume animal blood.
The vegetarians.
Basically. But on the fringes, you find the Khazikams. And they are physically monstrous. They view humans purely as livestock.
Terrifying.
And then there's the Alroks, an isolationist faction that just actively despises humans.
Okay, so Rhanthoria sits as this beacon of structured civilization right in the middle of a very dangerous geopolitical landscape.
Extremely dangerous.
And they've maintained this society for, what, 8,578 years?
8,578, yeah.
That is insane. You don't survive that long without intense bureaucratic control. The society is strictly hierarchical.
Oh, incredibly strict.
Yeah. At the absolute apex, you have the royal nobles in the palace. Beneath them, common nobles graded A through C. So that's your dukes, your generals, the administrative class. And at the bottom, the ordinary citizens, both vampire and human. But the manuscript points out that the glue holding this entire delicate economy together is something called the Queen's Bliss.
Yes, the Bliss.
And I'm stuck on this concept. I really am. Because you're telling me an entire geopolitical economy of blood relies on one woman handing out, like, good vibes once a month. How does that actually enforce peace?
Well, it is far more insidious and honestly biological than simply handing out good vibes.
Okay, explain that.
The Bliss is a profound physiological tether. So once a month, the current ruler, Queen Clansafara, performs this sacred ceremony. She gathers chi, which is this powerful life force energy, and distributes it across the populace.
Like a broadcast.
Kind of. And mechanically, this chi does 2 things. In vampires, it chemically suppresses their innate predatory instincts. It prevents them from treating humans as prey.
Oh, wow.
And in humans, it elevates their pain tolerance and induces this subtle stabilizing euphoria, making the blood trade process painless and, even pleasant.
Wait, so it creates a literal biological dependency on the state?
Exactly. If the queen were to miss a month, the withdrawal would cause the vampires to frenzy and the humans to revolt. The state's control is literally coded into their cells.
That is a terrifying level of state control.
Yeah.
But, I mean, maintaining that perfect state-mandated magic, that has to take a massive physical toll.
It does.
And that toll is about to fall entirely on the shoulders of one young woman, our protagonist, Royal Crown Princess a Lutlavier, or a Louvi for short.
Right, the crown princess.
She is next in line for the throne. And there's massive biological catch to her inheriting this empire because Rhanthorian vampires are not born immortal.
Which is a huge twist on the lore.
Yeah, they're born totally mortal. They can get sick, they can be injured.
Yeah.
They don't achieve immortality until a biological rite of passage called ascension at exactly 25 years old.
And the mechanics of ascension are just fascinating. Because at age 25, a Rhanthorian vampire's cellular structure reaches its peak malleability. It's this brief genetic window.
Right.
During ascension, they must drink human blood for the very first time. That human DNA acts as an irreversible catalyst. It fuses with their vampire biology, rewrites their telomeres, and essentially freezes their aging process forever.
But the timing has to be perfect, right?
Oh, absolutely. If they do it too early or too late, the physical trauma could be catastrophic.
So imagine you're a Louvi for a second. This is like a high-stakes corporate succession plan. But the incoming CEO must undergo a literal genetic mutation to become immortal just to take the job.
Yeah.
How do you even wake up in the morning under that kind of pressure?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, Alevi is a prisoner of her own privilege. Rhanthoria is a strict matriarchy. The power of the Bliss only flows through female rulers.
Right.
And because Queen Clansafar only has one child, Alevi carries the singular crushing weight of an 8,000-year-old empire on her shoulders. Every minute of her life is weaponized.
Yeah, she's constantly surrounded by elite guards, the Shadow Sentinels.
Specifically her stoic mentor, General Christopher, and his right-hand man, Kale.
Right. She's drilled endlessly in swordplay, military strategy, chi manipulation. I mean, she isn't allowed to be a person. She is basically a piece of state infrastructure waiting to be activated.
Which perfectly explains why the pressure cooker eventually has to vent.
It has to. The psychological weight just becomes unbearable, and that leads directly to the inciting incident of our story.
Yes.
Aluvi decides she desperately needs to just breathe. She uses her elite training to bypass the palace security, puts on a simple cloak, and adopts the persona of a peasant girl named Vi.
Just Vi.
Yeah, and she slips down into the lower city to experience the Moon Festival.
And the Moon Festival provides the perfect sensory contrast to the sterile, calculated palace. I mean, it's loud, it's chaotic, it's filled with paper lanterns, music, sweet pastries.
The total sensory overload in the best way.
Exactly. And it's in this anonymous chaos that Aluvi literally bumps into a tall, striking man with light hazelnut eyes.
Cue the romance.
Yep. This is Duke Anantron Andrew Wilhelm of Valor.
Okay, so who exactly is Andrew in the grand scheme of this hierarchy?
Well, he is a grade A noble, and he carries just as much diplomatic weight as Alevi does. He is the sole heir to the esteemed House of Valor, which commands a massive military legacy.
Oh, he's a big deal.
A huge deal. More importantly, Andrew has just returned from a highly volatile diplomatic mission to the monstrous Kazikim faction.
Wait, the ones that treat humans like livestock?
Yeah, and he somehow managed to secure a fragile peace treaty with them. So his family's expectations for him are stratospheric. He, too, is a product of relentless societal pressure.
And here's where it gets really interesting. Because Andrew is at this festival disguised as a commoner, too.
Yep.
He just wants a normal night away from the politics. So he has no idea he's talking to the crown princess.
And she has no idea she's talking to a grade A dude.
Right. They're just Vi and Andrew. And because they've dropped their titles, they have this incredibly sweet, mundane night. I mean, he wins her a stuffed bear and a little rainbow fish at a festival game.
It's adorable.
He buys her a delicate flower clip with tiny pearls. It is delicious, dramatic irony for the reader, but there's a profound tragedy baked into this, right?
Yeah.
Like their connection is incredibly authentic, but it's built entirely on a structural lie.
It's a beautiful but fundamentally doomed dynamic. I mean, look at what this night reveals about Andrew's character.
Yeah.
When Aluvi, acting as the peasant Vi, tells him that a noble shouldn't be seen walking with a servant, Andrew pushes back. He genuinely insists that titles and grades mean nothing to him, that he sees people as equals.
Which is nice, but...
Right, that progressive nature is a wonderful trait. But in Rhanthoria, it is a fatal flaw. He is actively falling in love with someone he believes is a human peasant, which is a massive social taboo.
Oh, completely.
And he is entirely unaware that she is actually the crown princess, literally the one person in the entire kingdom who is even more strictly regulated and unattainable than a commoner.
It's wild. So they agree to meet again at the next full moon, and they do. But this second meeting is where the submarine actually implodes.
Here we go.
Andrew takes her out of the city to a sacred, hidden location called Lake Eclipse. His devotion to this peasant girl is so absolute that he is preparing to make a bloodline oath to her.
An ancient, eternal vow of loyalty.
Yeah. But before the words can even leave his mouth, the reality of their violent world crashes down on them.
The ambush at Lake Eclipse is brutal. They are attacked by an Octar.
And an Oxar is not a joke.
No, in the lore of this world, an Octar isn't just a wild animal. It is an apex monstrosity that specifically hunts vampires. It possesses human-like intelligence, devastating speed, and immense physical strength.
And Andrew immediately throws himself between this monster and the girl he thinks is a fragile human.
He does. He draws his ancestral sword, Frostmourne.
Also known as the Crying Fang.
Often referred to as the Crying Fang, yeah. And Andrew is a formidable warrior. He actually manages to freeze and shatter the Octar's claw.
Which is incredible.
It is, but the Octar isn't alone. A second creature, a multi-headed key-clint serpent, blindsides Andrew. It sinks its fangs deep into his neck, and the venom of a key-clint is specifically designed to halt vampire cellular regeneration. So, Andrew collapses, rapidly bleeding out, using his last breath to tell Vi to run.
Oh, that is gut-wrenching. And seeing the man she loves bleeding out on the ground acts as the ultimate psychological trigger.
The microfracture.
Yes. Aluvi doesn't just tap into her palace training. The trauma violently rips open the ancient genetics sealed within her. She channels the origin blood of Queen Isthemp.
The very first queen of Rhanthoria.
Exactly. And the imagery in the manuscript here is apocalyptic. I mean, her eyes turn blinding white, her silver hair whips around her, and she unleashes a surge of primordial ki that obliterates every monster within a 100-meter radius.
It's massive.
It is a nuclear-level magical event. But I have a huge logistical question here. The shockwave of this magic rattles the entire capital city. How do you hide an event of that magnitude in a political system that monitors everything?
What's fascinating here is the sheer velocity of the state's bureaucratic cover-up. Queen Clansafara is a master tactician. She knows that if the parliament or the rival factions discover the princess has prematurely awakened the origin blood, it would instantly invite assassinations or trigger a global war.
Because it's too much power too soon.
Exactly. So when Parliament demands answers for the earthquake of Chi, the Queen wheels out the mangled, charred corpse of the Octar.
Oh, wow. A scapegoat.
She spins a narrative that this beast breached their borders, and the massive magical signature was simply the royal forces deploying heavy artillery to destroy it.
Clever. But a lie that big is bound to have leaks, right?
Inevitably. General Bethozar Abusniken, who is this powerful traditionalist noble who already despises the human-vampire symbiosis, he doesn't buy the official story.
Of course not.
He understands key signatures. He knows that kind of primordial power only originates from the royal bloodline. Deep in the underground, he and his loyalists quietly begin plotting a rebellion.
Because they're scared of her.
Yeah, their logic is ruthless. The current throne must be dismantled before this new origin queen can fully consolidate her apocalyptic power.
The political pressure is just reaching a boiling point. And meanwhile, in the palace medical wing, Aluvi wakes from a coma. And she is physically mutated.
Transformed.
Yeah, her eyes have shifted to a radiant strawberry light, her hair is completely silver white, and the glowing insignia of Queen Isthemp is permanently burned into the back of her neck.
And because her origin chi has surged so violently, the biological timeline is broken.
Right. She can't wait until she turns 25 anymore.
No, the ascension rite has to happen immediately, right there in the palace.
Okay, so we have to look at the biology of a queen's ascension because it's vastly different from a normal vampire's.
Right. A queen's awakened blood is far too potent.
Yeah.
If she were to drink raw human blood now, the impurities would literally incinerate her from the inside out.
Brutal.
So to survive and to stabilize her volatile chi, she must feed on royal companions.
And those are 4 elite, high-ranking vampire nobles.
Exactly. Their biology acts as a filter, processing the human blood into a refined energy that the queen can safely consume.
Okay, so the entire parliament gathers to witness her choose her very first blood offering. The political expectation is obvious. She needs to choose a grade A noble, someone to shore up her political alliances.
Naturally.
Instead, she shocks the entire room. She completely bypasses the high nobility and points directly at her bodyguard, General Christopher.
A grade C noble.
Yes. From a strategic standpoint, isn't this absolute political suicide? Why would a newly awakened, highly vulnerable queen intentionally insult the highest echelons of society by picking a grade C guard?
On paper, it looks like a disastrous miscalculation, but analyze the psychology behind the choice.
Okay.
Aluvi has spent her entire life surrounded by aristocrats who view her strictly as a political asset, or stepping stone.
Right.
Christopher is the glaring exception. He has been her silent, unwavering protector. I mean, when she snuck out to the festival, he quietly tracked her to ensure her safety without exposing her. When she nearly got caught sneaking back in, he covered for her. His loyalty isn't performative for the court. It has been tested in the shadows.
That makes so much sense. By choosing Christopher, Aluvi is laying down the philosophical foundation of her reign. She will reward true, tested devotion over aristocratic pedigree.
Exactly. Christopher willingly offers his blood, and the bond they forge is incredibly profound.
So Christopher's deep loyalty elevates him to this incredibly intimate, powerful position. But on the other side of the palace, Andrew is experiencing the dark inverse of that trajectory.
It is so bleak.
He barely survives the Kyclent venom. When he finally wakes up, his family lies to him. They tell him the peasant girl Vi vanished in the woods, likely dead.
Which they do to protect him from further taboo and to protect the kingdom's secret.
Right. But because Andrew broke protocol by sneaking out, his father, Lord Antoine, inflicts a brutal physical punishment. He publicly lashes his own son 100 times with a silver-tipped iron whip.
The physical punishment is agonizing, but the systemic punishment is far worse.
Yeah.
Because the queen needs to quickly assemble Aluvi's 4 royal companions to stabilize her erratic power, she issues a royal decree. She drafts Andrew into service.
Oh, the irony.
Against his will, while still healing from the lashes and grieving the love of his life, he is dragged into the northern palace, the gilded cage where the royal companions reside.
The dynamic inside the northern palace is fascinating. Andrew arrives and meets his new colleagues. You've got Albertus, who is icy, distant, constantly reading.
Yep.
Nathaniel, who is unnervingly calm. And Christopher, who, thanks to Aluvi's choice, is now Andrew's superior.
And Andrew refuses to play along.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah.
On his first night, the queen sends each companion a human offering to replenish their strength. The other 3 bite their offerings directly. Andrew outright refuses.
He demands the blood be drained into a chalice.
Yes. He rejects the intimacy of the act because his mind is entirely consumed by his memory of Vi.
His physiological wounds are closing, but psychologically, he is shattered. He is forced into indentured servitude to a crown princess he views as a faceless, tyrannical emblem of the system that destroyed his happiness.
And he is completely unaware that this princess is the exact woman he is grieving for.
Exactly.
So what does this all mean? I mean, for the reader, it is the most exquisite psychological torture.
Right.
Andrew actively despises the princess. He is bitter, sarcastic, constantly instigating fights with Christopher in the training yard.
It's so tense.
The irony is suffocating. He would gladly rip his own heart out for her if he just knew the truth.
Which raises an important question regarding the mechanics of their world. How long can Aluvi and Christopher realistically maintain this illusion?
Not long, I'm guessing.
Because the truth is already beginning to leak out through their biology. Earlier in the narrative, when the queen visited Andrew in the medical wing, she briefly touched his hand. And she realized immediately that Andrew's ki was actively resonating with Aluvi's. Even without a formal bloodline oath, their souls recognize each other on a cellular level. They are inherently tethered.
And Aluvi feels that tether.
Yeah.
But she refuses to just walk into the Northern Palace and reveal herself. She needs to know if the man who loved Vi is the same man underneath the angry, resentful mask of the Duke.
She wants to test him.
Yeah. So in the dead of night, she sneaks into the Northern Palace garden, hiding her silver hair under a wide-brimmed hat and a disguise, and she initiates a sword duel with Andrew.
The choreography of the scene is brilliant. They clash blades under the moonlight, and Andrew realizes almost immediately that he isn't fighting a common assassin.
No.
The intruder's swordplay isn't just learned, it's lived. It is impossibly elegant and precise. And during the flurry of the duel, the intruder slices through a massive bush of royal roses.
And the resulting storm of petals blinds Andrew for just a fraction of a second.
Just long enough for her to slip away into the shadows.
But she makes a critical error. She leaves something behind. Not a weapon or a piece of cloth, but a scent.
The scent.
The faint, unmistakable, sweet scent of amber. It is the exact scent of the peasant girl Vi. And that single sensory detail sparks this agonizing, maddening suspicion in Andrew.
He knows that scent.
He does.
Mm.
But logically, how could a fragile human peasant be fighting like a master swordsman inside the most highly secured garden in the kingdom?
It pushes his analytical mind to the absolute edge. The very next morning, he corners Christopher in the hallway. He drops the diplomatic pleasantries entirely. Dripping with sarcasm, he demands an explanation about the intruder.
And Christopher just plays the stoic general, smoothly claiming the palace guards are handling a minor breach.
But Andrew cuts right through the lie and demands, "Where is Aluvi?" He hasn't fully solved the puzzle yet, but he is connecting dots that the state has killed people to keep separated.
It is such an incredibly tense place to pause the narrative. I mean, you have this absolute powder keg of a society. You have an origin queen whose apocalyptic power is barely contained. A brilliant, resentful duke who is inches away from unraveling an 8,000-year-old state secret.
A loyal general frantically trying to patch the holes in the submarine.
Yes, and a ruthless rebel faction waiting for the perfect moment to strike. So, if we zoom out from the lore for a second, this manuscript explores a really compelling sociological theme. Rhanthoria represents the ultimate managed society.
Right.
Everything is quantified. Love, blood, connection, and survival are all commodified and regulated by the state. The bureaucracy dictates exactly where you belong. But the two most powerful forces in this entire story, the raw, volatile origin blood mutating inside Aluvi and the pure, uncalculated emotional bond between her and Andrew, are inherently untamable.
You cannot legislate a soul bond.
No, you can't. You cannot neatly format ancient primordial magic into a bureaucratic spreadsheet. Nature, whether it's human nature or vampire nature, will eventually break out.
Consider how that applies beyond the fantasy setting, too. I mean, we all operate within managed systems. We all wear different masks depending on the societal pressures we navigate daily.
Well, absolutely.
We have our highly curated professional masks, our familial masks, our public personas. Aluvi is forced to wear the mask of the flawless, untouchable princess. Andrew wears the mask of the dutiful diplomatic duke.
Yeah.
But true tectonic connections, the kind that actually alter the trajectory of your life, only form when those artificial masks are dropped. When they were simply Vi and Andrew at the festival, they found something real.
The tragedy of Rhanthoria is that the rigid society demands the mask, but their biology and their souls demand the truth.
Well said.
The rulers of Rhanthoria thought they had built a perfect ticking clock of a society, but they forgot that the gears in their machine are actually living, breathing creatures.
Yep.
Which leaves me with a final, lingering question for you to ponder long after we wrap up today. Think back to the Queen's Bliss.
Right, the magical narcotic.
Exactly. The entire hierarchy, the economy, the so-called peace of the realm, relies entirely on a state dispensing a biological, magical narcotic every single month to keep its populace docile and cooperative.
It really makes you think.
It does. If a society requires continuous, state-sponsored chemical pacification and extreme, violent secrecy just to prevent its citizens from tearing each other apart, is it actually a utopia? Or is it just a beautifully decorated, highly pressurized cage desperately waiting to be shattered by its own suppressed nature?
A phenomenal question to leave off on, because the pressure has to go somewhere.
It really does. Well, thanks for taking this deep dive with us today. We'll catch you on the next one.